Light heavyweight fight, co-main event. Nikita Krylov taking on Magomed Ankalaev. And I got a hot take on this one. I got a hot take on this one. Nikita Krylov is a very strong, very, very strong fighter. He's been ground out by a couple of high-level UFC opponents like Glover Teixeira. He got submitted by Jan Blachowicz, sorry. And Magomed Ankalaev is a slick striker. He's a little low volume, but he paces himself. He makes you fight in his world. He makes you fight at his pace. So he's allowed to do that. Krylov is not someone that should be overlooked. Everyone has already basically decided that Magomed Ankalaev is winning this fight. He's the second coming of John Jones at 205, and he's on a rocket ship for the title. But I think this fight is going to get very interesting. We've seen Magomed Ankalaev give up some takedowns before, even though he's supposed to be the solid wrestler. Paul Craig was able to get him to the mat. And if Paul Craig can get you to the mat, then Krylov can probably get you to the mat as well. And if Ankalaev has to deal with someone else on top of him, we've never seen him in that position before. That's dangerous, especially with a submission artist like Nikita. Nikita also knows his way around wrestling. If he can just suck some minutes away from Magomed Ankalaev on the floor, he opens himself up live for extending the fight, finishing it late, or getting some kind of a split decision win, something along those lines. This fight, I think, is going to get hairy, folks. Please don't parlay Magomed Ankalaev. Just don't. Just don't do it. I'm begging you. You heard it here. Don't parlay Magomed Ankalaev. The total on this one is 1.5. We've got these big boys. Magomed Ankalaev, who's known for his finish, coming off of just wrecking Ion Cutelaba. And everyone's sold on this guy's power. I get it. I totally get it. But Nikita Krylov has fought a higher level of opponent in the UFC, and he's had a phenomenal career, 34 MMA fights. He's only been knocked out once. Once. And Magomed Ankalaev is not submitting this guy. So if he manages to hurt him, he's not going to dive on a submission and choke him out. And we've seen that happen to Nikita Krylov before. You know, Jan was able to grind him down and then get the submission on him. If Magomed Ankalaev grinds him down, he's going to get a TKO, or he's just going to keep grinding on him. He's not going to get any kind of a submission. So I think Nikita is live for maybe a late submission if he's able to surprise Ankalaev with the grappling, if he's able to drag this fight out and make the big man tired, put him in a spot where he's never been before. I think there's a late submission opportunity for Nikita Krylov. Magomed Ankalaev, I don't want to doubt his power. He can knock anybody out. These are light heavyweights. These are big, big men. So he absolutely could do it. But the durability of Nikita Krylov is the thing that's helping us out here. The over 1.5 at minus 150 looks like a pretty solid spot to me. I'm very, very tempted on the over 1.5 here. And the alternate line of over 2.5 is plus 110. I'm extremely tempted on taking both of those. The fight goes to decision is plus 160. And that's another one that I'm extremely tempted in. I think that these guys are going to surprise everybody. I think this is going to be a fight where they respect each other's skill set. I think Magomed Ankalaev is going to be tested like he's never been tested before. And I think he may potentially overcome those adversities. I think he'll pass the test. But it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a walk in the park. It's not going to be like his last couple fights where he's just ripping through people. And Nikita Krylov, this kid, we forget, he's been around a long time. He's got a ton of experience. But he's a young, improving fighter himself. So we're all counting him out like he's a, with that kind of a record, like he's a 35-year-old fighter that's just going to get washed here. He's absolutely live in this fight. I think it's going to be a war. I think that over 1.5 is a good spot. I may be pulling the trigger on that one myself. I think the over 2.5, it's sketchy, but it's not. It's plus money there. I think this thing's going to the cards. And then of course at plus 160, if I think it's going to the cards, that's a good number. So that's how I'm looking. I like the overs in the co-main event.